Please like and subscribe to the Couch and the Rube YouTube channel. Also download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube, our Friday show, presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Download the app today. Bet the games this weekend. Bet the games we're betting. Better yet, probably pick your own games. Or swing on down by to Dacey's Tap Room and Sportsbook off I-94 in Battle Creek. Get the in-house sportsbook experience right here in Michigan. I'm telling you, Dacey's Tap Room and Sportsbook, just fantastic. You don't need Vegas. It is a really cool way to take in the weekend with sports and get your bets in. Jason, how you doing, brother?
I'm not a meteorologist. A lot of you know I'm just an idiot talking in front of a microphone and a camera. Again, I think it's over, but just in case it's not over and you hear a rumble of thunder in the background, just know that's not me. Okay? That's not me if you hear a rumble of thunder. That's Mother Nature, okay? She's doing her thing outside. If you hear thunder, just know that's not me. Okay, I'm glad we got that situated before we get this video started.
What's up, buddy?
The hell was that?
Sorry, that was Tony Dombrowski giving you an update about the weather in Detroit. I'm so sorry. I didn't know Mick Cronin was apologizing in a sweatsuit. I would have had clips of that, but I had to have Tony D tell us he's not a meteorologist, and it's thundering in February. Hey, anyway, what's up, man?
Mick Cronin's showing a little bit of humility and humanity.
No,
today,
he didn't.
maybe?
He only apologized to Jamerson. He didn't apologize to Matt Winslow.
Well, that's a good point. He did say he sometimes goes overboard and he needs to dial it back, but...
And he also needs a stylist. Why does everything he wear just annoy the shit out of me? Like, even his, UCLA, his, hoodie with the sweatpants. Like, he needs someone to style him to make him not look like such a dweeb and an annoying guy.
Yeah, somebody just needs to tell him he's not that good. He's not that cool. He's not, he's been to a Final Four. So what? You're not.
He jumped ahead of his skis, as the kids say.
Yeah.
Right?
Not a fan.
Yeah, you can't just all of a sudden think make one Final Four. Think you're a fucking celebrity. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, he needs to sincerely apologize to our guy Wenzel before we bring him back to the good side.
And apparently, you need to apologize to our listeners here for this Aunt Wright interview on Wednesday. Holy
my
hell,
gosh.
man! I have received so many messages and DMs about Couch with this 69 sesh. What was happening?
I got death threats, man. I got death threats from Dominic. No, I'm just kidding. But it was. Yeah, I mean, a little interview with a guy who follows Michigan a little closer than he follows anybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
I just remember him. I remember during the interview hearing him talk about injecting in something into his veins.
I cringed when he said that because the thing about Aunt Wright, and we won't talk about him too much because I know right now people are just like, I can't do this show again.
Let's bring him back on. I got his number. How can we call him?
Is he played for Michigan? He obviously likes Michigan, but I view him as a pretty objective basketball guy. But when he did the inject it into my veins, it's sort of one of those things where you're really letting people know what you want and how you see things, and that was like
on a predominantly Michigan State podcast.
Yeah,
though. You know what? You can feel that way. I talk that way about my bets, my golf bets sometimes, but it's like, those are only meant for me. You can understand why someone else would be like, "Why is Jason talking like that?"
I feel like we ought to get the entire audience just one big Shake Shack gift card. For that.
Oh yeah, we got to give some away today.
We will give a few more away today.
How many we have?
3 or 4 more to give. Yeah,
so and 4.
4. Yeah, we'll give away 4 more. And look, Shake Shack, by the way, opened their Frandor location this Wednesday, and open for business now. Great menu, cool place. It's what used to be the old Rite Aid. It's one of the best repurposed Rite Aids over in that. That area. No, it's pretty awesome. And so we will give away more Shake Shack gift cards here to the some of the best questions.
Can we give one away now?
Not yet.
Because there's Randall L in the YouTube chat. We have a YouTube chat.
All right,
we should start talking to the people because we have a decent amount of current listeners right now.
Well, if Randall L wants one.
He said, "Give me that Shake Shack gift card, boys." And come on, we got to give it.
All right, we'll give it to Randall. If you reach out to Jason, he will we'll take care of you. So reach out to Jason if you will, Randall.
Jason at couchandtheroob.com if you want to reach me at the Gmail. There.
Yeah, that's the best way to do so.
Or Twitter, I guess. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it is worth it. I've had I've had Shake Shack before, but I've had the new East Lansing Frandor Shake Shack and the avocado bacon burger.
That's for the wife, though. You're not eating that, are you?
Oh, I'm eating that.
Why would I know the wife wants the Shake Shack? Because it's just avocado. It doesn't sound like you.
It's so good. I love avocado.
Really?
Oh, I love avocado.
All right.
Yeah. No, it's so good. So good. Yeah, no, it's and only 870 calories, which I appreciate too. But what do you think about places that start? I didn't love when places started to put up their calorie totals. I've gotten used to it because you start to learn what you've been eating in some of these places. You're like, oh my god, I can't do that.
Well, as someone that I've never been a calorie counter. As a type 1 diabetic, I have to count carbs. I do that reluctantly, but the calorie thing, I could give a shit. All
right. Well,
as long as I got a muskox and my boobs are intact, there, I don't really care. As long as I don't look morbidly obese, I don't need to count calories. Especially with you on the treadmill all the time.
I count them.
Right?
I count them.
You shouldn't have to. You're on the treadmill all day. You should be able to get off the treadmill and go to Shake Shack and just get whatever you want.
And yet somehow I look like this.
It's unbelievable.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Before we get into our Groovy Donut Twitter questions, and some really good ones, I think this is going to be a good discussion today. What we are betting this weekend, presented by our friends at Firekeepers and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Jason, are you betting anything this weekend?
Gotta bet the Pistons, right? And by the way, how good is my Cade Cunningham MVP ticket looking?
What do you have?
I looked at it. I got it at 50 to 1.
Yeah.
I got 50 to 1 on New Year's Eve. I bet that. I threw a little $20 bet and at 50 to 1. Looked it up today. It's like 5.5 to 1 now. So I'm excited about my Cade. I love watching the Pistons. God, man, I love this team. I'm so glad they didn't make a stupid trade for like Anthony Davis or some of these bums that Anyway, so I love the Pistons. And by the way, Genesis, the Norm's bets, this might be the week that he doesn't cash, but maybe over the weekend we'd throw a live bet in or something. But
the depending on what happens, as we're talking right now, Coco Gauff is playing Svitolina in the semifinals in Dubai. If Coco Gauff wins this match, she will face Jessica Pegula in the championship on Saturday in the final.
Ooh, Pegula.
Pegula today beat Anna Samova. Got that wrong there. I love the way Pegula's playing. I do not trust Coco Gauff. I think her serve is crap. I think she's unreliable, and I love Pegula. And whatever that line is, not whatever the line is, but if you can get something south of minus 150 on Pegula against Gauff, I say you take it. If Gauff wins this match, she's in the third set right now. That would be one thing that I'm definitely betting this weekend on the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Also, Premier League is back. And, I don't have things I love, but I have some leans. And I like Arsenal -1 at Tottenham. And I think it's a bounce-back situation for Arsenal. I think Tottenham is awful. They just got to win for you to, get a push. And they win by 2, you win your bet. Like that an awful lot. And I like Liverpool -0.5 at Nottingham Forest. I don't believe in this Forest team right now. There's some other leans I have, but those are probably my favorites this weekend in the Premier League. That is what we are betting. Presented by our friends at Firekeepers and the Firekeepers Casino and Sportsbook app. You'll like the new app. They've I think renovated. It's a good way to put it. It's very user friendly, and good place to make your soccer bets and maybe your Tigers season win total bets. We'll get into those in a little bit with one of the Groovy Donut Twitter questions as well. Jason, are you ready to dig into these?
Let's do it, man. Dominic up first. Jason, do you remember that time that Couch had Ant Wright on when Michigan was number 1 in the country and MSU was scuffling? And then Ant said when he's watching Michigan, he feels the testosterone pumping through his veins. Don't answer that. I'll save it for my therapist.
Yeah, Dominic was not happy. Not happy. I'm sorry, Dominic.
I didn't know it was testosterone that he wanted to inject to his vein.
I think that was it, what he said. Yeah, look, I like Ant a lot, and I think he provides good analysis.
Yeah.
But I can understand if you're a diehard MSU fan who just cannot stand what's going on with Michigan right now. I can understand why it was a tough listen, or at least part of it. Hopefully,
I'm not talking about Michigan.
Hopefully you enjoyed the Open when we just talked Michigan State.
Dominic Graham, will you give me another Shake Shack gift card to help purge Wednesday's pod from my soul? You and Ant discussing a Western Toledo game from 2011 made your oatmeal story sound like MLK's I Have a Dream speech.
Tremendous. Tremendous.
It is interesting how you remember that kind of shit, though. But like we get into the show and you can't remember certain names, but man, you remember everything about that Western Toledo game.
I think the Western Toledo story was more interesting than the oatmeal story. The oatmeal story, people maybe it's grown on people over time, but the oatmeal story was pretty horrific. I mean, it
was something else.
Yeah, I mean, we'll play that again sometime in July or something. But
yeah,
it's a the Western Toledo.
We need to
game,
bring back the oatmeal story. We have to play that again. Sometime.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
By the way, should we play? Like, I forget about that. I have this, but with baseball starting up here in the next couple weeks, maybe I should bring in my Harry Carey or play my Harry Carey call that I made to him.
Your cold call to try and get him on a radio show, right?
I was trying to have a liner because what they used to do in the radio days, back in the great glory days of radio, is you would call celebrities and have them, whatever show that you were producing, you would say, hey, it's blah, 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 and you're listening to blah, 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 right? So I called Harry Carey 2 weeks before he passed away, and he yelled at me. So we might have to play that. It's pretty funny. It's 18-year-old me. It's tremendous. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Harry Carey's yelling at me. So
it's tremendous.
So we'll have to do that in the oatmeal story.
Yes,
I guess.
Oh, what a show people can look forward to. Maybe we'll do that in the Ant interview over for you.
Can Ant come back on? Sparty Ben, did you think Xavier Booker's homecoming was well received by the fans? As someone at the game, I thought he received more support than I expected. Yeah, because people wouldn't shut up about it. Everybody's yelling at you. And Izzo's telling you before, don't say it. Don't boo Xavier Booker. It's like, holy shit! Like, what happened here? So what? So he left. I mean,
but I think that's why. I think part of it was people don't feel scorned by him leaving. People feel betrayed by Trey Holloman, right? They feel like this guy was the ultimate program guy who then left, and that may not be the fair response, but that's how they feel. If he came back, he would be booed. And I think with Xavier Booker, they feel bad. It's got to the point where it wasn't like he was something, like he took something with him. He didn't go somewhere and become an all-Pac, or I guess they're in the Big Ten, I can say all-Pac-12 performer. But he didn't go there and become an all-conference player. I think that would have been a different response. And if anything,
I think I'm more angry at you than I am Booker. Of all those, like what we had to listen to the Booker, he'd be patient, he's coming along, and all of these things that turned into,
Well, now he's the reason UCLA is losing. He's the reason Mick Cronin is being an ass to Matt Wenzel.
Booker's to blame for Mick Cronin's
mistakes? Part, and now it's on Cronin because he's the one who recruited him here in the portal. But when you're a gritty coach who wants to recruit a gritty defensive team, you cannot have Booker as the firm, rim protection and rebounder on your back line as your 5-man. And that's what Michigan State discovered. He's just not an aggressive enough soul. And that's a big part to me of why UCLA is underachieving this year. And Xavier Booker is a terrific kid. If he doesn't do anything in basketball, fine. I've had a million good conversations with him. And I think people feel that, though. Booker never did anything to disparage the university. He's said only nice things about MSU. It didn't work out. He's gone somewhere else. And he's dragged their program down a little bit. So, what are you going to be mad at him for? I mean, you really can't.
Sparty Ben, is Michigan fans throwing a fit about Fear's dirty plays? And they weren't even dirty. The most soft shit of all time. Well, they have Ade Mara on their team, who is the dirtiest player since Grayson Allen.
I don't know if Ade Mara is that. That seems like a stretch there, Sparty Ben. Does not have that, I mean, look, he came down hard on a guy. Like he's a tall guy who can be clumsy, and he has sharp elbows, and that can. But what Grayson Allen did is a whole different level. So I just don't think.
But Mara did that one on the one you're speaking of, right? And Northwestern on purpose. That was on purpose.
I don't know if it was on purpose.
Really?
I don't. The way he came down, if you watch his teammate kind of bump into him, I don't know that it was. I really don't. If I thought it was, I'd say it. Like the more I watched it, some people thought it was, other people didn't. I do not. To me, it seemed like something that could happen. It was a flagrant. It deserved to be a flagrant foul.
Here's Couch.
Welcome to the Blue Wall.
The Blue Wall team here with Ant Wright. Knew it. Knew it was going to happen at some point doing this show. Alex Mayer, how much did Couch pay the Peacock announcers to give him a shout-out?
Peacock?
Yeah, we listened to it before Wednesday's show. We couldn't play it because they cut it out of the YouTube, right?
Well, they cut the part they talked about in the commercial break out of the YouTube, or during the timeout, I should say, out of the YouTube.
So it wasn't very interesting to play, I guess.
Yeah. Well, what you do, if you ever want to be on TV, you do what I did. I just sent over those guys a box of Groovy Donuts. And it's the way to get yourself mentioned in anything. If you want to be...
Did you really, or is this a bit?
No,
did you really send him some Groovy Donuts?
Yeah, 4 dozen Groovy Donuts. No. See, now you killed the bit. You questioned whether I was truthful.
I didn't know.
I was trying to do a live read about Groovy Donuts, and you questioned the lie.
I'm not a meteorologist. A lot of you know I'm just an idiot talking in front of a microphone and a camera.
Whether this was true or not by me, it is true in your life. If you want people...
It's stolen valor, giving someone Groovy Donuts for a live read. I mean, it's just shameful, dude.
If you want to bribe somebody in your life, Groovy Donuts is the way to do it. I'm telling you right now. They have first of all, this looks fantastic. The Buckeye Donut, which is available today, Friday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m., both locations. That's not the Ohio State Buckeye Donut. It's like an actual Buckeye. It looks unbelievable. Both locations. East Lansing on Lake Lansing Road and in Williamston, and it is like this chocolate and peanut butter dream come true, rich cake donut topped with smooth chocolate icing crowned with a peanut butter iced chocolate cake donut hole. I mean, it is something. They also, of course, have the cherry limeade fritter throughout February, which is one of my favorites. Jason's seen me eat a fritter before. It's not a pleasant experience for other people, but for me, it's amazing. But if you want to bribe somebody, you want somebody to be happy that you're there, you just want to brighten your day or anybody else's day, Groovy Donuts. Go to groovydonuts.com today and place your order.
Alex Mayer next. That sequence with Jordan Scott at point was rough. Does Fears simply have to play 40 minutes a game? Or can we finally see Fort run it for a few possessions? And from Alan Perlstein, will Jordan Scott get some extended minutes at the one? Wojcik has an injured shoulder and has been an offensive non-entity.
So these are obviously countering points. Somebody says that Jordan Scott at the point was rough. Somebody else says, well, you get some extended minutes. Alan with that, Alex with the other way. They hadn't practiced it. He kind of rehearsed it in his head. Jordan Scott did, and what to do, and went out there, and I thought he was fine enough. It'll be interesting to see if they practice it and what the situation is with the shoulder injury to Denim Wojcik. As we're doing the show today, Friday afternoon, there's availability with Izzo and players Friday late afternoon after this show. So I don't know yet what the latest is with him, but I do think they will be prepared to need Jordan Scott at that position a little more. And now whether it works, whether it looks rough, how much, I think he's a smart guy. Won't try to play outside himself, but we'll see. If now teams are going to know that's a possibility too, they'll probably have a plan for it as well.
Kurt Wisniewski next. Groovy Donuts and Shake Shack should collaborate. A double glazed donut, a double donut cheeseburger.
See, this is how you earn a Shake Shack gift card. Kurt Wisniewski, fantastic.
Dude, Couch's sweatpants would fly off his body if they came up with that.
A double glazed double donut cheeseburger from Shake Shack and Groovy Donuts. Outstanding. They do not have that, but they have a terrific menu. Go to ShakeShack.com. You can check it out. Swing by any location wherever you are. You can Chicago, New York, wherever you're there. Shake Shacks throughout the country. If you're in an airport, good chance there's a Shake Shack. That's where I had before the Frandor location opened. That was where I had my most recent Shake Shack. I can't even remember what city I was in now, but I remember calling Jason and being excited about it. So go to ShakeShack.com, and they are open starting at 10 a.m. daily in the Frandor location if you're here. Very, very cool.
I remember that phone call. It was amazing.
It was. I was
so excited. So much excitement in your voice.
Yeah, I heard their opening went well too, so I was pretty excited to hear that as well over at the Frandor Shake Shack here in Lansing.
DMB next. How do I stop having nightmares from the 2011 Toledo Western story time? I thought Toledo came back to win. LOL. Nope. Just covered. Cool story, Couch.
Hey man, I remember point spreads.
Pound the bushes.
DMB, what does MSU need to do between now and the tourney to secure a 3 seed?
Well, I think they obviously need to not lose games they should win, right? So you gotta beat Ohio State, even though Ohio State's capable. You gotta beat Rutgers at home for sure, obviously. And the question is, what do they have to do before that? Because if you look at like the bracket matrices and you look at the way the media just did a mock NCAA tournament deal down in Indianapolis, where a bunch of people go down there and they stroke the NCAA and the NCAA strokes them, and they put out what they would have as their bracket. Although I do think it's a cool process. Michigan State's looking like the top 4 seed right now by some people, low 3 seed. So the question is, when you look at their 3 road games, Purdue, Indiana, and Michigan, what do they have to do from there to get a 3? I think 2 wins out of those 3 would do it 100%. If they just beat Indiana on the road and lose to Purdue and Michigan, I don't know. I think they'll be on the ball. I think, they'll maybe have to win a game at the Big Ten tournament. How much that'll matter, I think it'll be one of those things you just won't know. I think if they win 2 of those 3, they're going to be a 3 seed, though. And obviously, if you beat Michigan, that's going to – if you only win 1 and you beat Michigan, that probably vaults you up too. But that would be the those road games will carry a lot of weight, and that would be my guess is they got to win 2 of those. Unless it's Michigan, they got to win 1 of those.
Chris next. Now that MSU spanked a decent UCLA team, are they back to being a tournament team? Or should a 20-win team still be in the NIT? F the Doomer fans who are incapable of understanding the ebbs and flows of a season in a conference as difficult as the Big Ten.
Well, yeah, people are not built for basketball anymore. Football and social media has ruined this, and it really has. I mean, if we could kill football,
why can't you talk about it when things happen and just have a rational take on it, and not have the sky is falling?
100%.
Do it every year. I know that, but when they play poorly, you want to talk about it and go, "What's going on? How do we fix it?" and move on.
I think that's important. I think it's fine, and I think it's fine when the sky is falling, or if things look like they've changed to really dig into that. I do think, and I'm not talking about just like listeners on our show and people write in. I'm just talking about basketball fans in general. We are a football culture where every week, the sky is everything's up or down completely. And in basketball, where you play twice a week, where things do ebb and flow, where teams struggle, where things go wrong, we're not built for it. We don't handle it all that well, especially in the social media era. That's all I'm saying. This is still a very good Michigan State team. They happen to be playing in a great year for college basketball at the top. And we'll see if that continues. It is now that you have more and more older players sticking around with NIL deals, and they'd rather do that than be a second-round pick and things like that. But I also understand the frustration that people want MSU to be one of those teams at the top, and they feel like Izzo has the tools at his disposal to get there and hasn't done it. And so I understand the frustration as well.
Max Spade next. Duncan Robinson gave the finger to the Knicks bench after a corner 3. Is this the worst part of Michigan basketball and the best part of Pistons basketball? Like Aiden Hutchinson, can I cheer for Karras and Duncan now?
I mean, we all cheer for laundry, right? And so you cheer for the jersey, you cheer for the team, the school, whatever it might be. But eventually a player becomes synonymous with that. And so if you're a Lions fan and all of a sudden Aiden Hutchinson is helping your laundry, all of a sudden, he's been a part of the laundry or the Lions for years.
I haven't washed my Brian Branch jersey since I bought it a couple of years ago, so I don't know if it's considered laundry if you don't wash it.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, no.
You can just move on. Really, I don't know. I can't sit there and hold hatred like that. But
and all of a sudden they're on your. That's one of the great dynamics. I mean, look, fandom is to some degree mental illness, and I'm not saying it's severe mental illness. I'm not saying it's unhealthy mental illness. It can be. But
is there good mental illness?
Well, I'm just saying, like, the way we think of things is like this person who chose to go to this school is is anti-me. I have to be anti them. Well, wait a sec. Now they're playing for a different team. That's my other team. What happened? I mean, if you think about it rationally, it is fandom is mental illness, and it's what we all love it. But it's not real. It's not rational thought generally. I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Max Spade, correct me if I'm wrong. Michigan State has only had a couple of knockdown three-point shooters in the last 8 years. Joey Hauser and Tyson Walker. Maybe Jace Richardson? I'm too lazy to look up the stats. Is this why? Why Michigan State seems limited recently?
Well, they haven't had enough shooting, no doubt. But it's not really. I mean, Pierre Brooks, for example, was a knockdown shooter who they recruited who just didn't hit shots at Michigan State. And so, yes, they haven't enough shooting. I don't know if it's always been on the recruiting piece. Some guys who were supposed to be shooters. Jace Richardson was supposed to be a really good player. I don't think anybody thought he was going to be as efficient as a shooter and as he was as a true freshman. But, yeah, no, look, you go back post-Cassius Winston, they have not had enough shooting. And, you know, you go back to guys like Foster Loyer, who prolific high school shooter, but didn't do it at the Big Ten level, right? And, you need more than they've had.
Waymo Believer next. Graham, you said Izzo and other coaches should call out Dusty if they feel a certain way about him, yet you backpedal like Prime Dion when talking about Carlos and other peers.
Okay, here's the difference, though. It would be more the...
We had to call him Los. We don't call him Carlos.
We call him
So there's
Los.
really, is it really backpedaling if you have to call him by a different... Oh, yeah, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's kind of backpedaling.
It's not... We're pretty blunt. Like our
I think Couch knows that Los sucks. He just, obviously, I get it. You know, he's a nice guy.
The difference is I really, truly, genuinely like Carlos outside of his work. Like I've had, a dinner with Carlos is a great dinner, right? And does he, needle people beyond what I would do? And does he? Yes.
That's what we call it, needling.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
But the difference would be this. Here's the equivalent.
Making me not want to pay for a subscription. Needling, I guess.
If instead, Carlos works for the same organization I do, and I'm talking about stuff on the air, right? So Los, as we've decided to call him here, because early on when Jason started ripping Los, I was like, man, we can't do that, man. He works for the same organization. The show's going to shut down
though.
Again, and then he went over the line to the point. And I said, Jason, you do what you want to do. But think about it like this: if Tom Izzo was ripping Pat Fitzgerald, that would be what you're asking to happen. In the same organization is what we're.
But is Fitzgerald coming out with his headset on, taking a dump at the 50-yard line? I mean, then Izzo would have a point. But Fitzgerald seems like a guy that could,
But Izzo never ripped Mel Tucker. He never ripped Jonathan Smith. He does. He's not going to. They're in the organization. You don't do that to somebody you're in the organization with, especially if you've got a. Look, the quickest thing. There are two ways this show gets shut down. Okay, if corporate, USA Today and Gannett ever listens, and if my wife ever listens, these are the two ways this show gets shut down. First, there are lots of ways the show gets shut down. So those, we don't want to bring those two things on.
Why do you make it sound like I just have a vendetta out for Los? I mean, he does it to himself,
correct,
and I comment on it, and I don't wish any ill will towards him or anybody to do anything personally to him. We like to bust balls on this show, and Los stinks at his job, and it's fine. It's just a weird profession. Like, I just don't understand why you'd want to do it that way. Waymo Believer next. Jason, who's currently your favorite golfer, and who is one golfer you would love to win a major? Ooh. Well, I have to say, because a lot of these guys are good guys, so it's there's not many hateable dudes. So usually the way my money goes, I usually am if they win money for me, like Gotterup. By the way, I have a Gotterup Masters ticket, so I do root for a guy like that. Jake Knapp is my guy. Hao Tong Lee, I love that dude. He reminds me of my friend when I went to Rochester, Kelvin. So I love Hao Tong. I would love to see him win a major, but Gotterup, I'd love to see him win the Masters. So I don't know. It just kind of rotates.
You said you already have a ticket?
A Gotterup, yeah. When he won the Waste Management, when he came back in that playoff, I fired in a ticket for the Masters. I never really, honestly, the futures market, I kind of stay away from, but I just,
What are the odds, offhand?
It wasn't anything great. It was 35-1 at the time, so it's not like I snuck in. It isn't like my Cade Cunningham MVP bet.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get much value. It was just one of those things like he came back and he was a dog in that tournament. I was like, man, this dude's winning the Masters, fire,
I love that.
Just sprinkle it on it. That's why golf is great. You can bet on it and just forget about bets. Mr. Benjen, true or false? Coen Carr is the scoring savior we've ached any of our asked. AC
asked. It should be asked. Sorry,
man. You've effed me all the time.
I should have caught this. I didn't catch it.
I should have too, I guess. True or false? Coen Carr is the scoring savior we've asked any of our shooting guards to be. Asked any of our shooting guards to be.
Mr. Benjen, killing me here. My bad. I should have caught that. It was
It'll be a cold day in hell before I give up on Coen Carr.
Yeah. I don't think he is, but I do think he is. If he can keep playing like he is offensively, that's extremely helpful. And the fact that it happened 2 games, what you need to see from Coen Carr now is it consistently, right? And it's not so much the shooting. The shooting is important. He's going to have some days where he doesn't hit shots, but it's the aggressiveness and the comfortability in which he looks offensively. I think that is really important, and it just gives them one more person that defenses have to deal with. He just changes Michigan State when he's playing well and confident offensively.
Benjen, where are we on the Tigers over-under total of 85.5?
I don't hate it. I saw.
Buenas tardes. It is time for the Detroit Tigers gambling update with Gramanito Couch and Jason Nick.
So I saw it at 86.5. 85.5 sounds good. I don't know. 85.5 does feel a lot better than 86.5 for whatever reason. I'm a little nervous about this team, but I think they got the best staff in the division. And I think if they're going to win the division, they're going to win, 87, upper 80s. The question is, do they have the lineup? And I don't know. I don't feel great about it.
Do they have the bats? That's the question. And do they? I mean, honestly, I know that everybody's been making a big deal with Valdez and having Skubal, but the rest of that rotation, though,
I think it's okay.
You trust Flaherty?
No.
You trust? I mean, Casey Mize at times looked great last year. He just couldn't get the run support. I know, but
pretty good top 2 though. If you can,
I get
decent,
it.
Yeah,
I get it. But if you like the top 2, I guess the question is the bats. Are they going to score runs? Are they going to get off to a slow start? I don't know.
And what's the rest of the division like?
It's going to be crap though.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the Guardians are going to be good.
Well, I think the Royals are going to be decent. Yeah. It's not like before where it was a lot of fun when their over under was in the 70s and it was a little more fun to take.
Yeah, that was a riot.
Yeah, but like
so much fun back then.
I wouldn't take the under. That's what I would say. I would feel like it's not even. First of all, that wouldn't be fun because then you'd find yourself rooting against the Tigers. I'm going to take the over. I just don't know how heavy I'd want to go on it. I don't know.
Hasia, BVB next. What are your thoughts on the new alternate Detroit Tiger uniforms? I just listened to Tony Dombrowski give me a whole rundown of what he thought, and I wish I would rather just play his thoughts on it because when I see them, that Clint Eastwood meme of him just in Gran Torino on the porch there just going, it's not for me. I don't know. I'm not buying it.
I don't get why. And when you have great classic uniforms, why
like Michigan State hockey when was it last night when I saw those tweets? Oh my God, those are beautiful. No matter you had even Michigan hockey fans were like, oh man, these are sick.
Those are classics from the 80s. Yeah, yep.
What do people not understand? Like the classic jerseys will always be classic. So why do we have to do these alternate?
I think it's the worst. If you've got the reason Oregon works with all their different uniforms is because they had like piss yellow and vomit green clashing colors forever, and it was like the Oregon Ducks had to figure out something else. So do something different. If you have classics like Michigan State, or if you have Ohio State or Michigan or whatever, you have classic uniforms that people do not mess with it because that's what brings the emotion. That's what I still struggle with the Denver Broncos. I still think I might be a Denver Broncos fan if they had not changed uniforms in the 90s. I stayed with them through the Elway era, but I do wonder, and I don't know this because, again, fandom is a mental illness. You don't control it if it's real fandom. But I still wonder if, like, they had stayed with the old orange full jersey and, the D with the Bronco through it, if I would still – because that'd
still be a douche. That's what you're wondering.
Yeah, thank you.
Asia, can Chris Solari have a once-a-month segment about things that make him angry?
Speaking of guys like him, right? We haven't had back.
I will.
Isn't that Spartan speak though?
That's
where you guys talk for 15 minutes apiece.
Anyway,
we have him on Spartan speak. We had I've told this story before. We only had Solari on this show once in the 7.5 years we've been doing it.
Graham.
And that was back when we were doing 5 days a week, 2 hours a day. Insane. And part of it is because if Chris and I did not have a podcast that we do every week or most weeks ourselves, we would do it. We would have him on occasionally, for sure. But the funny part is the one time we did have him on, back then we were doing the show, even though it was a podcast, more like a radio show with like hard outs and commercial breaks. And we were coming up against an hour, and I couldn't get him off. I couldn't get Solari to stop talking to get him off.
Graham.
So,
So maybe he could record it if there's something that's grinding his gears, and then just send it over. And then...
Well, we don't do that now. We don't even care about time anymore on this show.
True,
obviously.
but I'm just saying, just to keep Solari in check, that way he has it recorded. We play it, boom.
Yeah, and I know the things that would get him going too. Like I know how to like turn the monkey in the back, and make it
take one of his pens.
Yeah.
Isn't that what he freaks out about in game days?
Not give him a printed box score, whatever it might be. Yeah, those things. Yeah.
Bag GR next. Rube, if you win the $334 million Powerball, how much would you give Izzo for a natty, and what would you ask for in return? Season floor seats, a luxury box stocked with Groovy Donuts, and weed? Well, first of all, after tax and all that, what are we looking at? Probably about $150, right? 150 mil?
No, it'd be closer to it'd be 200 mil, probably.
Would I have to call J.G. Wentworth? It's my money, and I want it now. I'd give him half. Oh, no, I'd break off about 50 mil. Like, how much would we need? I'd want to be one of those people that was like, what do you need? I would need Izzo to tell me what he needed. And then I would, we'd go back and forth. But, yes, I don't want to sit on the floor seats, though.
You don't want floor seats?
No, because everybody's staring at you. I worked with a guy at Jimmy John's who was sitting on those in the Ishbia seats because he works with Ishbia now. And I saw all I could do was stare at him and send him pictures of himself during the game.
You want to be a few rows up.
Yeah, I want to be in the Paul Davis section, like me and Paul.
Yeah, Twisted Tees.
Yeah,
that's
chilling, hanging out.
Yeah.
I'd need a spot to smoke weed. I mean, if you can do it for Snoop Dogg, you have to do it for me. If I'm donating 50 mil large, Jeff Kohler, he can come by. Anyway, niche class. Did I hear Ant correctly on Wednesday's show? The only team in the nation who might be able to stop the Wolverines is Illinois.
I don't think he said that.
I got to go back and listen.
I think I asked him about the Big Ten. I said anybody, but maybe I did ask them who has a chance. I think it was about the Big Ten, though. I think it was of other teams who were at that tier.
He's got a stupid-looking face.
I think we were talking within the parameters of the Big Ten. Yeah, that's.
Oh man, I love when people just get pissed off at you. Nick Class. I read the Riley Green expose on The Athletic. Isn't he just a modern-day Rob Deere at the plate? 30-ish homers and 200-ish strikeouts.
Rob Deere, those were the years, huh? Rob Deere, Cecil Fielder.
Yeah. Hitting bombs at Tiger Stadium.
Well, that's what we're going to find out. I think there's a little more upside.
I think he's
Riley
a better ball player than that.
Yep.
I get it, but yeah.
But there is some concern with that. And his response to that early on was not great. That his strikeouts were not really a problem. And
well, and then the rebuttal of saying I think I got to stop swinging at everything. Like what?
Yeah.
Like all right. Get Javi Baez out of there. What's happening? Shep, Graham, of the 12 ladies on the roster of the MSU women's hoops team, how many could you beat in a game of one-on-one?
0. Let's shut this down quickly. I don't want any rumors going around that I said I could do this.
What?
At 46 years old, every one of them.
Are you raising your voice at me, bro?
They would all take me to task pretty easily, I think.
Think so?
I do.
Would you score?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I mean, the other day...
So it would be a close contest each way.
Well, no, but here's the other... So the other day, Solari and I shoot a video, a post-game video in the practice facility after the UCLA game, right? And I'm wearing a muskox flannel. Haven't warmed up a bit. There's a ball hitting around. Solari takes a layup. He throws me the ball. I'm from 25 feet out, one shot, swish. In a muskox flannel, not warmed up.
Did you record it?
No, we weren't recording it.
Why?
I should have.
But what is with you two? Just leave the camera. You have a tripod thing that you guys talk into for your stupid post-game thing. Leave it on. Yeah. Shoot some hoops. People want to see that.
So anyway, what I'm saying is I would hit some shots. It's just they would score on me.
It's what people want to see, dude. Yeah. You and a muskox shooting hoops with Solari. No offense. I'd rather watch that than your post-game thing, your analysis.
Fair.
Because I'll read it. I'm going to read your post-game analysis. I'm not trying to say that.
We'd only do the videos because corporate wants the videos.
Fuck, dude, shoot hoops.
Okay.
While you're doing the video.
Yeah, I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get the microphones, get those little lav mics. God, give the people what they want for this $19.99 a month. LSJ, dude. Skylar Verdon. Is the fact that I can't enjoy a MSU home win without hearing Graham in my head saying, home wins are meaningless, feel-good games, a sign I listen to this show too much?
It is a sign you've listened. It's a sign that I've got a lot of bad takes that I repeat. Is what it probably is. That's more. It's not. This is not on you, Skylar. It really isn't.
But to answer his question, though, you listen to the show a lot. You're starting. I do it with the Drew Lane podcast with their drops. Like, I walk around the house saying stuff.
Yeah, no,
you just listen to it too much.
Yeah.
Still love it. Janet from Plymouth. Please flesh out the Detroit news and state news coverage of this $401 million pledge and Spartan Ventures controversy. The more I read, the more it sounds like they're just repacking the failed California private equity deal, spinning it as altruism, and hide behind NDAs. Sorry, I do not trust Mr. Bat, Mr. Guskowitz, or the insurance guy who dropped out of Western Michigan. None of them have ties to MSU. Bat and Guskowitz don't even have ties to the state of Michigan.
So a couple things here. And Nolan Finley at the Detroit News wrote a pretty cranky.
It was a hit piece.
Well, I think it's fair to question things, though. I don't think that's. I think there are real questions about transparency and where this is going, and this is very new. And the idea that a portion of something that has been at a public university will not be maybe have the same transparency or be able to have the same watchful eye from the public is concerning to people, and not everybody trusts these guys. It is. Janet doesn't trust them. She's not alone. Okay, I also think, and this is something that, don't get me wrong, these are not the only people looking into this. I'm just not going to react to everything Nolan does with a column right away.
Welcome to the blue wall.
There are things being FOIA'd. There are conversations about what to write and opinions being formed. And sort of prematurely on Spartan Ventures, I would say this. I don't know if it's going to work or if I like it yet, but people also have to decide what they want, right? I don't think what Spartan Ventures is, which is going to be, sort of a private wing, donor wing and funded portion of Michigan State athletics. I don't think it's ideal. I don't think anything that's going on in athletics and college sports is ideal. But if you want to win, this might be the way, right? You can have all the transparency in the old way, and you can probably have fewer sports on campus and declining revenue sports like football and just bitch about them here on the show.
Pound the bushes.
Or you can hold your nose a bit, risk something new, and trust MSU's leadership with some out-of-the-box thinking. And I'm not telling you either is right. I'm just saying I don't know that you can have it all at MSU. I don't know that it works without taking a little risk. And again, it is risk. And I'm not saying this should be the way it goes. I'm not saying maybe college sports needs to look different. Maybe there need to be fewer sports. Maybe this is the worst possible idea. But it wasn't working for Michigan State. And so they have to find another way, and they're trying to be on the cutting edge, and this is what they're trying to do. And I don't think they're doing it with bad intentions. But when you do bring private money into something like this, and you create something that's outside of the public sphere to some degree, you do lose some transparency. And that is something people are going to have to come to terms with or not, and say this is something that cannot be. And if there's enough pushback, now it looks like it's going to go forward for the time being, but if there's enough pushback and people are upset, this doesn't have to be the way they go, but then you got to find another way to fund things, and they've struggled to do so otherwise.
That was the best Roger Goodell answer I've ever heard.
Was it?
You're the best at that. You and Roger Goodell do it perfectly. You just say, you talk for like 3 minutes, you forget what you ended up talking, like what was the topic, and then by the end you go, all right, cool, man. Yeah, that's a good point.
Kind of like,
it's just just, you get me every time, because I'm just like, It
used to happen every time I interviewed Shalik Calhoun. I was like, it was a really good conversation. I go listen. I was like, he didn't say a damn thing. Man.
David Jackson, regarding three-point defense, am I the only one to notice that opponents frequently shoot over MSU's defenders who are guarding them, but frankly not really challenging the shot? Meanwhile, MSU players almost never attempt a three-pointer unless they're open, with no defensive pressure. I do notice that there are a lot of times that
the hand is up, and it almost is like just creating a good enough arc for the shot. It doesn't seem to prevent the shot, right? And shooters love that. Shooters don't mind a hand in their face if it's not actually adjusting the shot. And Michigan State does seem to have more guys who, because they're not pure shooters, they're not going to shoot if they're not open, right? And so this is a good point. We've seen Kerr Tang, we've seen Trey Fort, and we've seen Jordan Scott sort of let it fly over guys. We've seen, I think, a few times we've seen Jackson Kohler do that as well. But there is something to that. And I think if you're going to guard a three-pointer, you really got to guard it and get out there. The problem is at this level, without fouling somebody, it's hard to prevent a shot if somebody's a real shooter. And but you're definitely onto something, David. You saw it in like the Minnesota game. You saw it a lot. You've seen it throughout the year. And I think just a pure shooter, somebody whose identity is tied to their shooting, can get certain shots off and does not mind having a hand up, especially if it's not really adjusting the shot.
Next one from David. How come MSU's late shot clock defense isn't tighter? A 7-footer has the ball with 2 seconds left on the clock, and we back off him playing the drive as if he's a young Grant Hill. So we let him launch a shot at the buzzer instead of contesting the three.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that to not foul or something?
One. Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to think of this specific situation and why it went the way it was. Their defense. Look, they're a top 5 defense, Ken Palm, nationally all year. I mean, they've been really good. And most of the time late in clocks, they've been very, very good. They've been a great defense. If Michigan State's offense was 20 places higher in Ken Palm with the defense they had, we'd be talking about a very legitimate national title contender right
now. David, does Nate Bott think that it's a given that Augustine leaves after this season to turn pro with the Red Wings? When the Spartans signed an NHL first-round goalie, I assume that Trey's departure was carved in stone. But is it? By the way, imagine the Spartan team with Isaac Howard.
Couple things here. One was at the game last night and just wrote a column that will go up Saturday morning on Michigan State hockey. Because one of the things I thought last night that was important is it was, Notre Dame outplayed them for a lot of the game. It was a dicey game, and it was one of those games where Michigan State didn't take advantage of some chances. They were a little loose defensively. They had some calls not go their way. Got in the penalty box way, way too much. And it's the sort of game that in a sport that's defined and ultimately comes down to like a single elimination situation in the postseason makes you nervous because you can see that game unhappen. And the way they saw it out after getting that 3-2 lead early in the third period, I thought showed a little bit of their difference and some growth. Because last year it was a 3-2 lead against Cornell in the NCAA tournament, right? And they played a little tight. They didn't have the offense to keep control of things. When you bring up Isaac Howard, now, he was a guy who was dynamic on that top line, but Porter Mortone has been the same way, right? He has been tremendous. I mean, those 3 guys their numbers are incredible, and I'm not saying Howard would have made a difference and just creates more depth. It would have been incredible, but I don't think they really miss him that much. I think this team's pretty well loaded with everything you could possibly want. But last night was one of those examples where it just gets a little dicey and a little nervy, and it was, for their sake, I think, good to see them get out of it.
Clint One-Ball Bainey next. Why doesn't Izzo ever utilize the 2-3 or 1-3-1 zone?
He just doesn't like zone. He just doesn't. It's not what he believes in. His own defense is what.
Don't coach my team.
I don't necessarily agree with it because I think a zone intermittently can really throw people off. If you've been playing against one style of defense the whole game and you find a rhythm, I think like I've always liked a 1-3-1 zone is something to kill another team's rhythm. I've seen some coaches do it effectively, and Izzo just doesn't. I'm not going to defend Izzo on that. He's a Hall of Famer for his defense, but if I were him, I would have occasional zones that I would throw in when things were going wrong for my team.
Can you ask Tom on Sunday?
I'm not going to ask Tom about zone defense.
Can you ask him that question?
I'm not going to ask him about zone defense.
Right.
Yeah.
Clint, why don't we add 2 more games to the Big Ten schedule and dismantle the Big Ten basketball tournament?
This deserves a Shake Shack gift card. Clint One-Ball Bainey. I don't actually hate the Big Ten tournament the way people think I do.
So you like it?
No, I hate the idea that anybody thinks it's the championship in the Big Ten over the regular season. It's just not. It's not what the Big Ten recognizes. So I think if we all agreed on that, I would be way more cool with the Big Ten tournament. I think it's ridiculous it ends on Sunday right before the brackets and you can't celebrate it. If you're going to have anything worth celebrating, you have to have time to let it breathe. It should end Saturday, right? If the Big Ten tournament championship was on Saturday, where the championship had time to be taken into account in the brackets and you had time to celebrate it, it would have more meaning as well. But when you have this many teams, the value of another week of Big Ten regular season games, what would that really mean? You got a lot of teams in the dog days who are just kind of done, who would be done anyway. The reason I disagree with this idea, although I love the sentiment, hence the Shake Shack gift card, is, if you are, it gives everybody a chance. It keeps people engaged later in the season. If you have a situation where you don't have a conference tournament, there are going to be at least 5 or 6 teams every year by mid-February are just like, we're done anyway. What the hell's the point? And now, they're going to the conference tournament. If you can be playing well, do you have a chance? It just keeps people more engaged, and I think it makes for better Big Ten games. And you're not going to get to the point of a true round robin anyway. If it was going to get you to a point where you could hit something, even if not a true round robin, where it created some sort of much more even schedule or something like that, I could be absolutely convinced of it. By the way, Shake Shack open 10 a.m. to midnight Sunday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. On Friday and Saturday night. So some late night eats available at Shake Shack here and Frandor and everywhere. Very cool to have them in this community. Definitely adds to. I think we have some great food places. Local chains and otherwise, and Shake Shack I don't know. It's fun.
But it's late night food. There isn't much of that around anymore.
No, it's
where
great.
You can go and grab a burger and shake like that.
100%.
Clint, why don't we use the Kelly Green hockey uniforms 3 to 4 times a year? Takes me back to my time at MSU. Hell yeah. For the love of Ron Mason. Let's put a Ron Mason tribute on there.
Yeah.
Where's the Ron Mason patch?
I heard one person who didn't love them, but I think they're pretty cool. I don't know. It was just somebody, a listener on Twitter or a reader on Twitter, didn't love it.
Faucet Liquor.
It was not Faucet Liquor. It was somebody with more credibility than Faucet Liquor. But no offense, Faucet Liquor. Yeah, no, they're cool. They come out and they're, I don't know. I like that color green. I do.
Jay Riemenschneider, I know Xavier Booker's motor is in question, but do you think Dusty May could get the most out of Booker and motivate him to be the best he can be, whatever that is? He's done it with other skilled bigs who haven't lived up to their potential.
I do not. I do not think that Dusty May is the Xavier Booker whisperer that nobody else can be. I think Xavier Booker's problem is mindset, it's aggression, and it's not something that Dusty May is going to do better than anybody else. I think Dusty May, though, where Dusty May would have done differently is I don't think Dusty May would have recruited Xavier Booker as an Ade Mara replacement. That's what I think Dusty May would not do, because he knows the flaws and it's a big risk and there's a lot of skill there. But if you're trying to win now, a player like Xavier Booker is just not.
Do you think when Cronin threw his own player out, you think Booker was kind of like, "What did I do? Fuck me." I do wonder if Xavier Booker regrets leaving, and I do think that the one thing I wrote, and I think this offer has been made to him, is I do think. I think he regrets UCLA. I don't know if he regrets leaving here. I think he just regrets the UCLA thing.
If he wants to play basketball seriously, like if he wants to play professionally, if he wants to get the most out of his skill, he should redshirt next year at UCLA or Michigan State or anywhere. He really should, because he needs to spend a year just completely bulking up, getting as strong as he can, and working on his game. And then I don't know if that'll even be enough, because I think a lot of it's just aggression and mindset. But he needs a year where he's not in a performance bubble, where he's not being, the microscope's not on him. He's only got a year left. He hasn't redshirted yet. If basketball is not what he's hoping to do forever, he doesn't, but if he wants any shot to play in the NBA, and he's got a lot of skills that a lot of people don't have, he needs some real development. And I don't think it helps to do it under the microscope. I think he'd be better off just taking a year working on himself.
Jay Riemenschneider next. Why do you think Michigan basketball is looked at in a much higher way nationally than locally? And it's not just this year, it's always. Do you think it's because football is so big and historic and takes up all the energy here?
No, it's because Michigan's not really a state school. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of people in state who love it. But it's like, I mean, just the other day they said they'd rather play in Philadelphia in the first round than Buffalo, even though Buffalo's close. And the reason they do that, it's a million East Coast Michigan grads in New York and Philadelphia that come out. I mean, it's much more of a national school than it is a state school. And their alumni base is spread out that way a little bit. So that's part of it. It's always been that. It's been a bigger brand nationally. It was with the Fab Five than it is locally. And that's why in terms of when they're playing really well and people are into them, there's a big audience for them. But like I've said this before and I'll say it again, it's pretty proven. Of the 8 major sports teams in Michigan, and we're talking the 4 pro sports teams, and then Michigan football, Michigan basketball, Michigan State football, Michigan State basketball. Michigan is number 8 out of 8. In terms of interest, and I mean that it just is, and there's no way out of that, I don't think. And that's people reading from outside. I mean, so they have a fan base, but they are smaller than all the other 7 major sports in Michigan. At least when those teams are going well. And if you just take all those seasons, everybody's having an above average year. Michigan is 8th.
Jay Riemenschneider is number 1 versus number 3, and number 2 versus number 4 this weekend. A preview of this year's Final Four.
It might be. Michigan Duke will be fun. Like usually I can't stand stepping out of conference play with a non-conference game once conference play started. Or once it's really gotten underway. Like I couldn't stand that Georgetown game Michigan State played in 2014 that Mark Hollis set them up with. That Madison Square Garden and Appling's wrist needed a break, and you're trying to. It just doesn't. It doesn't serve you well to me. But at this point, Michigan's won the Big Ten title. And this is a really interesting game, so it kind of works in that sense. Arizona-Houston will be just wildly interesting, too. Has a chance to be a preview of the Final Four. I mean, those are 4 of the teams that have a chance. And I would say, Illinois and who am I missing here? Well, I would say Illinois, even UConn down at 13, I like a lot. Florida a little bit there at 6. I mean, those are the teams that I look at like real shots to get to the final, to win it, I should say, and the most likely shots to get to the Final Four. But there are another half dozen teams that have a chance to get to a Final Four, I think.
T-Bone's dad next. Rank the most deplorable coaches from the following: Mick Cronin, Nate Oates, Krusty May, and Dan Hurley. Try not to be impacted by recency bias, even though Cronin is the real-life version of J.K. Simmons' character from Whiplash.
All right, so only these.
I was thinking he's more of a Schillinger from Oz kind of guy. Cronin,
So they all can be jerks. All these. Well, Nate Oates. I like Nate Oates personally. I just have to recuse myself here. Nate Oates,
because you guys used to text though.
We have a relationship. When he was the coach of Buffalo, and which is a great town by the way. I'm choosing Philly over Buffalo. Buffalo underrated. Yeah, I mean.
But when did Nate Oates creep into that category though?
Well, he's done
the Brandon Miller gun thing?
That was bad. The way he handled that was really bad. This stuff this year, I understand why he's unlikable with having a pro player or a player come back to your program, but that's happening in a lot of places. There's a lot of questions with that. That stuff on its own the Brandon Miller thing is something I think is going to stick with him. It's going to make it hard to I don't think you could hire him at a place like Michigan State because of that. I think that would
really.
I think that'll run with him. I think people have a problem with that. Maybe I'm wrong. Mick Cronin is a jerk. It's hard. And Danny Hurley, I don't know. I mean, Danny Hurley is like Izzo's biggest outburst, on speed is Danny Hurley. Danny Hurley can be a nutcase. Danny Hurley in Maui, was it last year? When the last time Michigan State was there? When Michigan State was there a year ago, the hissy fit he threw and didn't want to ever come back and was going after people left and right. It was worse than anything Mick Cronin's doing right now. And there are things I like about. I think Danny Hurley's a hell of a coach, but
we're nuts. I'm not nuts. They're nuts.
Yeah, I don't. It's a tough group. To rank.
Max Spade.
But to be honest, I think Dusty probably is the least deplorable. Most people who aren't Michigan State fans would see that easily.
Here comes the Ant Wright interview again.
You want to just play the Ant Wright interview.
Directed in my veins. Max Spade, have you ever seen anybody with better on-ball defense and worse off-ball defense than Jesse McCulloch? And from Chris Eastlick, are you surprised McCulloch doesn't play more? That was a game well under control and still barely got in until mop-up duty. Matchups aside, he's expected to be a big piece, and he seems to be sitting way too much for matchups.
So here would be a counterpoint to all this, and I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be a really good player long term. Whether he's good enough next year to be like the mainstay inside, I think is a real question. But he's shown some improvement. I think he's shown some toughness. I don't think defensively, you bring that up, the off-ball defense. He's just not as good as especially as good as Carson Cooper. And if you want Tom Izzo to definitely get a 5 this offseason, I think he should either way. The more McCulloch doesn't look completely ready to be the guy, probably the better. But I think there are matchups where he should play a little more. I think there are matchups where it looks like Carson Cooper, especially Jackson Kohler, will gets a little worn down, plays a lot of minutes, tough matchups, a lot of big guys. There are times where I think he's fine. He's better than the coaching staff thinks of him. And they always talk highly of him. I think there are things they just don't trust entirely.
Chris Eastlick, do you think Mick throwing out his own guy could be a moment you lose your team? If he hadn't already, holding guys accountable is one thing, but doing that in front of 20,000 people seems like a moment some guys would rethink if their coach had their back fully.
I think a lot of guys would. I think, look, it would be, he embarrassed his own player, and he embarrassed a guy who, was coming back to a place that he wanted to play at Michigan State. I mean, this was a big game. And yes, if you do something, by the way, like this in your life, Groovy Donuts is the best way out. If you embarrass somebody needlessly, you make a mistake, apologizing is important, a sincere apology. But an apology always seems more sincere with Groovy Donuts. Go to groovydonuts.com, place your order today. If you said something stupid this week, go to Groovy Donuts now. If you just want a weekend in the house, relaxing, or you're going to a gathering, or whatever it might be. Not that there are a lot of February gatherings, but maybe you're going to a February gathering. Go to groovydonuts.com, swing on by either location, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m., open Thursday through Sunday, open obviously the rest of this weekend, and will definitely be a part of my weekend.
Scott, you next. The double teams keep happening to Cooper and Kohler every game because they're turnover potential Team C. When will MSU run a set of play off the double and give Kohler and Cooper clear options, like Carr cutting to the basket and another player back cutting or flashing to the corner, similar to a quick pass in football to build a quarterback's confidence? This might settle their nerves, give them a read when the double comes, and force teams to change the scout. This guy knows ball.
Yeah, Scott,
you dude.
Come in, do the show.
What?
Yeah. Why am I writing columns? I don't know what I'm talking about.
Is that the Final Four is never wrong guy? Or?
No.
The guy knows ball too.
Final Four is not on the schedule.
Oh,
Final Four is never wrong. Those guys know ball too. I would say this with Cooper and Kohler. You're right. They seem to be slow to make a decision sometimes on double teams, but teams definitely know they can turn them over. I think with both of them, that's more the reason for the dig than being scared of those guys really dominating in the post, because we haven't seen them dominate in the block. Now, we've seen both of them have games where they get going a little bit, and I think that's something teams do want to take away. But I think with Kohler's one of those guys that's got a lot of skill, but against length and speed, sometimes you don't have as much time as you think you have. And I think that's still part of his games he struggles with a little bit. And teams know they can get him to turn it over there, and Cooper as well. I mean, Cooper's problems are different than Kohler's. I think Kohler has the game in his head to get out of those and create plays in those settings, and just sometimes doesn't do things quick enough or whatnot. Cooper sometimes tries to do things he's just not quite capable of doing. And he's taken major steps offensively, but you just see it occasionally on the spins. And then you watch. My favorite thing to do is immediately look at Izzo's reaction after Cooper turns it over, like spinning to the basket or whatever, because it's like he's gotten a lot better. But that's just there are plays that he shouldn't be doing yet.
Tim Graham, you said Izzo's biggest strength is that second game of the weekend. Do you realize MSU has lost 4 times in the second game of the first weekend, 4 out of the last 8 tournaments?
Sure, but that doesn't change Izzo's strength being the second game of the weekend. If you look at the circumstances in which they've lost, they've had some of those were games where years where they were like an 8-9 seed, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you're playing a 2 or a 1. So you're a huge underdog. And they've won more of those games as like a 7-10 than a lot of other programs have in that setting. But you're just outmatched. And then last year, same thing. They get to the Elite Eight, and they play a team that just had more weapons and size, and that Auburn team. And so it doesn't always work perfectly, but it's still a strength, and the resume still is what it is. I mean, it's if you're Michigan State, you would rather be in that setting against an elite team than the previous game, because that's where you think your coach gives you an edge or has at times. Now, maybe more coaches are getting good at that, but the way they scout the weekend has been one of their strengths, and still the overall numbers are really good in terms of their ability to take advantage and be better than their opponent, or more prepared than their opponent in that second game of a weekend.
And that's the taint.
Tim, do you think the best thing to happen to MSU was 2020 being canceled? History shows Izzo would have pissed down his leg, so now you get to live in a familiar world of hypothetical titles and claim you would have won it in 2020, although every historical indicator says otherwise.
Well, their Ken Palm numbers say they would have had a chance, but it is hard to do, and so they might have not. I think knowing would have been better. I think getting to a second title, especially if they had won 2 or 3, and like this could have been the 4th title, maybe that hypothetical would have been. Even then, I don't think so. But the drive to get to 2 is such a thing in that program that not knowing what could have happened, and a team that legitimately had a chance because of the way Tillman was playing defensively, the way Cassius Winston, after the tragedy of his brother and sort of a year that wasn't quite as good as his junior year, had really come around late. I think they had a shot. I think there were a few other teams that did as well, but I do not think it was the best thing to happen. Now, it certainly creates that lure of what might have been, but no. The funny thing is, Tim is the only one that DM'd me and said that they enjoyed the Ant Wright interview. Said he wanted to hear it again, so he's going to listen to it twice. Jonathan Smith's burner next. Does Mick Cronin get fired after the season? I would not want to play for that penis in a suit. Do you think he'll find another job, unlike the elevator operator that Graham got fired? He did not get fired. He did not get fired.
But he had a stern talking to.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I worry about
there was
that.
A stern talking to.
I don't worry about it. I don't think he'll get fired after the season, because I think it's like the guy who's the AD, who's a former Michigan State guy, gave him like a $22 million buyout. So I don't.
Is that why he was apologizing today?
A school that's been in some debt lately, I don't think is going to fire him.
Jonathan Smith's burner. Rube, what's your dream 4-man scramble of past and current golfers? Dead or alive? Well, we got to go John Daly, and we got to go Tiger Woods. The next 2, that's tough. I think I would say Mo Norman. We have Mo out there. Rest in peace. Damn, dude. Who'd be the 4th? I don't get to play, obviously. I just caddy. I get to walk. I think VJ Singh would be another guy. I don't know. You could just interchange. Sevy. If we're going like dead golfers, I mean, Sevy would definitely have to be in there. John Daly, Sevy, Tiger, Mo Norman. There you go.
Lee Trevino? No?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's so tough. It's 4 people. I mean, goddamn. Man, how did Sheehan get Wenzel on before you? The 69 sesh was incredible.
Yeah,
What's up with that, dude?
I wasn't gonna. I mean, Wenzel's my neighbor. I see him all the time. I didn't think he wanted to like relive this, but Sheehan's got no shame. So Sheehan's like, "Come on the show. I do a show 5 days a week. I need,
he needs the content.
I just,
Matty B, if Michigan wins the title, do you think Izzo reassesses his portal and roster construction strategy?
I don't really. I mean, I don't think, because Michigan has proven itself to a point now that they're a true, whether they win the title or not, they're a title contender. So if what Michigan is this year is going to matter at all to how you build a team, then that's done. It doesn't matter what they go on to do, right? To me, they've proven themselves, and Dusty May has proven that you can put together a team that is a favorite or among the couple favorites to win it all, going heavily in the portal, as long as you have the resources to do so. Izzo is going to live with his. I mean, it's worked largely the last couple of years. He won the Big Ten by 3 games and got to an Elite Eight. This year, they're like 21-5, and they got a chance to be a top 3 seed. They're a step away still, right? And so he's got to keep amending. And that's the die-trying part. What does that look like next year? If you look at next year's roster, do you want to break it up and do it the Michigan way? I think I'd rather hope that Jeremy Fears and Coen Carr are back and that the recruiting class they have coming in is there, and then you add where you need to, which I think next year would be a 5. I think the only thing, if everybody comes back that they think can come back, the only thing you're messing with next year is you're adding a 5. And that's not doing what Dusty May's doing. But I think if you add the right 5 to next year's mix, you got a real chance to be a team that's a notch up from where they are right now.
Matty B next. Spartan Ventures is raising its own money. It's not taking academic taxpayer money. Alessio getting a media deal doesn't hurt the biology department. So what is this Chicken Little fear over not being able to see things unrelated to academics? These trustees need attention.
Yeah, look, Michigan State trustees have a checkered recent history, and they're not a group of people, and some of them I think are good people who mean well and smart people and all that, but it is a collection. They're not somebody right now who has a lot of public trust, right? We all know that. And the thing is that this is still going to be overseeing parts of MSU athletics, and it used to always be you could FOIA for what was going on. You could figure out what was going on. And so if things are going to be a little more hidden and decisions are made about a public university and a public athletic department that are not available to be understood, that is the concern. There are ways this could go wrong. It is trusting the people in charge a little more than than you'd probably like. And I also, I'm still forming my opinion on this, and I do think Michigan State needed to do something that was outside the box a little bit. Whether this is it, I don't know, but like the money clearly was something they were struggling with, and just bringing in a new AD who's the idea of bringing in this guy was to find the money, and he appears to not only be able to do that, but to then find a way to be able to funnel it to the athletes to be able to have the teams you want to have, and that. I'm just at this point I'm rambling, but I will have more thoughts on this later in terms of columns, and we'll talk about this a lot because this is going to be a huge story this spring and summer, and I think it's not going away, and I think people are very mixed on it. I think there's a lot of stuff over there that people are a little uncomfortable with, but I don't think people trust the trustees either.
Matty B next. Do you know how many articles have been done on the Champions Circle? None, Graham. Detroit News called it NIL the right way. How many articles wanting oversight to Underwood's deal? None, Graham. One school is under a microscope and one is not.
Yeah, I did a quick search on this. A couple things. One,
welcome to the Blue Wall.
The Michigan Champion Circle is more of a traditional collective, right? So it was done the way it used to be done, and so people are more comfortable with that, I guess. And but it's fair. If Nolan Finley, if you think he's got one a tougher eye on Michigan State than Michigan, maybe that's the case. I'm not. I don't know what response I'm supposed to have here. The shame these people.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Let's
there you
fucking
go.
Rally. Let's pitchforks.
There you go.
Freaking A.
Get up their ass, couch.
Yeah.
Look through them. Fuck. About time. Sparty Barb, Graham, and Jason, have you cast your votes for Trey Augustine for the Hobie Baker Award? If not, do so now. One of the top 4 goalies in save percentage for 2026. Vote at hobiebaker.com.
Certainly, you could argue, and there are a few if you're going back 40 years, but one of the most important recruits in the history of MSU hockey, and certainly in this era, because he starts it all, right? This is the guy they get, and Nightingale gets, and he obviously has the relationship with him through the development program. But, this is the guy that before they had proven that they were going to be great, he comes aboard, right? And that is a huge part of things in his commitment to Michigan State, and really having an elite goalie is, it makes a big difference.
Parker Wise next. With the NHL players back competing, hockey is the best event in sport in the Olympics by far, summer or winter. Do you agree?
I don't know about that. I love Olympic hockey. I don't know. No, I wouldn't say so. I think because I find Olympic basketball to be really good in the summer too. I thought the last Olympics was great.
Track and field stuff.
Track and field's amazing.
Like,
yeah.
Usain Bolt stuff back in the day was sick. I don't know if there's guys that are at that level now, but yeah.
The sprinting and
but hockey's always good when it's competitive. I mean, it just, I don't know. I wish I watched more of it. I say it all the time, but
yeah, there's
just don't.
Team handball, underrated.
Oh, God. Javelin. Spartan 18770, if donut eating ever becomes an Olympic sport, Graham will be the highest paid quote-unquote athlete ever.
I would be well trained from Groovy Donuts.
He wants a gift card.
Yeah, no,
He wants a gift card, Spartan.
All right, you've earned it.
What?
You've earned it. Yeah, that's
I think we've given out 7 though.
That's probably the last gift card today.
It would be unlike us if we gave out too many gift cards.
That would be
really, it would just be a shock. Listeners everywhere.
That is,
or didn't send them out or something.
But if you too want to be a great Olympic level athlete in donut eating, I highly recommend Groovy Donuts. Maybe not to do that. The time I ate was 10 donuts in 9 minutes. Pretty heavy donuts too. This wasn't like some Krispy Kreme crap. This was like really good. Not only was it really good Groovy Donuts, it was groovy. I had a cup of milk here, which made it worse. Should have gone with the water. But still, those first 6 donuts that I ate in like 5 minutes remains the best experience of my life. And that only happens with a place that gives you joy and love with
outside of your
marriage.
Creation.
Outside of my marriage, yes. And some days including my. No, I'm kidding. But if you want that experience too, get yourself a dozen donuts from Groovy Donuts, or share donuts with Groovy Donuts. If you go to groovydonuts.com, you can see what they have available. Their specials. You can get whatever sort of assortment you want, or just swing on by Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing, and also Williamson, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thursday through Sunday.
Next one from Spartan 18770. I was told that MSU couldn't have a spring football game for the fear of losing players to other schools. Is this still true, or were we given another load of crap by the last regime?
Well, I do think that this was not just a Michigan State thing. This was something that was happening places throughout the country. People didn't want them. They were going out of vogue. Remember, like 10 years ago, it was like, can you get 50,000 fans at your spring game? It was like the big thing. Like that mattered to anything.
No, depends on the weather.
Yeah. But now I don't know what this will look like in terms of a spring game versus, practice, scrimmage. I think they are trying to create some goodwill with fans, and that was an opportunity lost before. And so I think it's smart to do, especially if you have a roster that's not loaded. And look, all it takes, though, is if I were a coach, I would risk it once. If I lost one guy that I thought was going to be an important player because of a spring game performance, that would be it. And I would be easily able to say that. Again, this is where we don't call coaches out, but I would easily be able to say that to my fan base. This coach took my guy after a great spring game. Or I would just tell BTN, don't televise this. We're going to do this in-house for the people over there. You don't get to put this on film.
Munfield, Keg next. Shouldn't this be the year that MSU allows tailgating for the spring showcase? If Fitz really wants to get off on the right foot with fans, he would make this happen. Early hot take, he says.
Yeah,
it's a no-brainer.
To me, I would.
I don't get it.
I would always have tailgating in the spring football.
What are we worried about?
I think it would just people would love it. It'd be a party. It'd be a way to get people engaged in the program early, and it's a game you can't lose. That's the other thing about a spring football game. You're playing each other. You can't lose. It's like the only game of the year. Nothing can go wrong. Just create a great experience and a festive party.
Have the D'Antonio rules where you make the scoring crazy, and
that's the best.
Do something like that.
Man, I remember that stuff.
He'd blow the whistle like, another 5 minutes. That was 17-point touchdown.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go back out and party. That was fun. Craig M. next. How can I have faith in this MSU basketball team? We have no star players, and it seems like the only way we can beat an actual good team is at home. How can we make it through the first weekend of the tournament with lack of star power? And let's be honest, streaky shooting at best. If I'm an opposing team, I'm basically just going to pack it in and dare us to shoot it. We will be lucky to make it out of the first weekend of the tournament. Sounds like you've been listening to Tim there, Craig.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Even Aunt Wright didn't say that.
Structured my veins.
First of all, they do have a star player. I mean, Jeremy Fears is a legitimate All-American candidate, Big Ten Player of the Year candidate, certainly first team All-Big Ten, I would think. I would be surprised if he's not. Like, Jeremy Fears is a legitimate star in college basketball. And they've got other really good players. So you have a true star, and you have several, 3 other accomplished, good, really good Big Ten players. And so they have that. Now, on the road, that is something that you got to see from them. Like, I think the Indiana game and Purdue games are interesting for that because I think matchup-wise, Michigan State matches up pretty well with those teams. But they're going to be in hostile, difficult places where Michigan State's traditionally struggled, or at least struggled of late. And so what do they look like? Can they show the ability to get over that stuff? And again, in the postseason, you don't play in the road, in a true road environment. But it does show your ability to deal with adversity in tough places where things don't go well for you and you don't have the home crowd. And I think that's important.
Max up next. Does Izzo listen to your show? I think he does. Last Monday, I suggested that he give Jordan Scott some time at the point, and he did. Do you think that Tom Izzo wants me to coach his team?
He's been asking that, Max. He has asked
Don't coach my team
a couple times.
Yeah, and we ran out of gift cards, so we would just decided if we asked Izzo if Max could coach his team.
That was the
thanks,
the trade-off. As we've heard from Stephen Izzo, the only time he listened was when I was talking about my colonoscopy, and he came in the room and Stephen Izzo was laughing. So that's great.
Hey, Dad, Graham's talking about his colonoscopy. Stop what you're doing. Max, getting a 3 seed may be crucial for MSU's hopes of reaching the Final Four. Is this a year that Izzo takes the Big Ten tournament seriously?
It's not that he doesn't take the Big Ten tournament seriously. I just think you can't fake desperation. And teams often, there are some teams that are and some teams that aren't, like different levels of motivation. He's taken the Big Ten tournament seriously in a lot of years. I think they will go there trying to win. Now, to what degree is he worried about playing fierce 3 games in 3 days or maybe 4 days and whatever their seeding is? If they're not a top 4 seed, they've got to play a 4th game in 4 days before the NCAA tournament? I don't know if they want that. I know Ant Wright, and he and I debated this on Twitter. Ant doesn't think that's a real thing.
Oh, that's where you guys debate? Yeah. Not on the show?
Well,
it's on Twitter.
I don't want to get into that because everybody's heard my cranky opinions on the the Big Ten Network. But so I do question the value of the Big Ten tournament for Michigan State if they're not a top 4 seed and you're playing 4 games in 4 days. And what if you wind up with a Thursday game then after playing Sunday? And again, I don't know that they get to Sunday, but I'm just saying that I don't know that that's the best for this team that doesn't have depth at a couple spots, including most obviously with Fears at point guard, who they need to be great. That said, to what degree is the Big Ten tournament valued by the NCAA selection committee? And they're not looking at the tournament. They're looking at wins. They don't care if you play Illinois in the Big Ten tournament or if you play Illinois in February. They're judging it the same. So they're not looking at, they advanced to here in the Big Ten tournament. It's who you play and who you beat. So there would be value in beating somebody good in the Big Ten tournament, I think, without question.
Original Dark Mantonio, when will MSU beat Michigan again? And when will MSU make a bowl again?
Are we talking football here for beat Michigan? You never know when it's coming. I mean, look, nobody thought it was happening in 2020. Michigan State was an underdog in 2021 and won those 2 years, right? So it's an impossible thing to predict because rivalries are goofy that way. And when will they make a bowl again? It depends how many bowls are left. There's no Detroit game anymore, obviously, so we'll see. But in terms of getting to 6-6, I think that's realistic next year. It's realistic any year. But I don't know what this roster is going to look like and feel like.
Next one from Original. You and other MSU talkers say Michigan fans suck and don't care about basketball, which is not true, by the way. But do you think that adds to MSU fans not being able to handle it when Michigan wins big? And since you say Michigan fans don't care, Chrysler shouldn't affect the game, right?
So a couple things here. Not all Michigan fans suck as basketball fans. And I bring up the Maryland thing, but you don't come back from that, because that doesn't happen in Illinois or Michigan State or Indiana or Wisconsin, right? You were playing for a Big Ten title beginning in March, late in February, whatever it was, important game, and the fan base didn't show out. And maybe it's because it's a Wednesday and half your fans are in Philadelphia and New York. I don't know, but it was not great. And you don't come back from that as a basketball fan base. You had a moment where your team needed you and you failed them. So that is what it is. And Michigan fans, I think they care when the basketball team is good and they want to enjoy it. And I think the crowd will be nuts when Michigan State plays there. But you don't come back from what happened against Maryland. It's just – and now does it matter? Does that impact why MSU fans – MSU has had basketball as something it could, at the very worst, be even with Michigan. Now Michigan's had some runs longer than Michigan State. But I think Michigan State fans hate the idea of Michigan in the sport that's been Michigan State's best identity for a long time Michigan passing them. Now, it's 1 year, right? Michigan State won the Big Ten over them a year ago. Can it be sustained? And we're all prisoners of the moment. But there's no doubt that what's going on in Michigan right now irks the heck out of MSU fans.
Big John Hogg next. When Ant brings you on his pod, are you going to suck Izzo off for 40 minutes? That was rough.
Right now, either you're stuttering or I'm not picking it up because it's a what. So.
Yeah, Dominic had the same sentiment. There were some others that didn't make the show.
Yeah, you cut his, but you let that in.
Well, yeah, a little later in the show we can get away with certain words. Yeah, that's all. That's all it is. Yeah.
Big John Hogg, how many punchkis did you guys put down on Tuesday?
So I'm a huge Groovy Donuts person. I think we all know that. Mm-hmm. Not a huge Fat Tuesday guy, which is surprising looking at me. Not a huge punchki guy. I like punchkis, but it's not like out of my way. I'd rather have this cherry limeade fritter this weekend from Groovy Donuts, or the matcha old fashioned, or that's at Groovy Donuts, or these Buckeye donuts that are at Groovy Donuts, or whatever it might be. Love the Fruity Pebbles donuts too, by the way.
Oh man.
Than a punchki. I don't know. Are you the same way?
I have. Yeah, I'd had zero. I'm not a punchki guy.
Yeah. Again, groovydonuts.com. Place your order today.
Big John Hogg, I found a Big Ten Plus fan in the wild on Sunday. I was in Ann Arbor, so this shouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah. Big Ten Plus is ass.
Did you see the picture?
I did
not.
Big
John Hogg sent with it? It's the bumper. Someone had a bumper sticker of Big Ten Plus.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I love it.
Big Ten Plus.
I love what Big Ten Plus
love it.
I love what Big Ten Plus does for students. Yeah. I just wish
it's too expensive.
Right.
And you have students doing it, which I like, which I enjoy, but it should be $3.99 a month.
And it should be less clunky when you log on to your television. I just wish it was, I don't even mind the student part of it. I just wish it was part of your cable package that was like a channel up from Big Ten Network. Right. And that's all it was. And I don't mind the student part of it at all. I think that's really, really cool. And some do a good job. And sometimes
you have to learn somewhere.
Absolutely.
Why not do it on a Big Ten Plus, broadcast? Yep. I get that. It's just charging $12.99 a month for it or whatever.
Yeah, if you're going to charge Netflix prices, you got to deliver a little more sometimes.
Yeah. Claire Rest Stop Welcome Center next. Is this a Twitter account for real? What can I do to make it up to you, Couch, for your terrible experience with me? Find you a new gay friend? Make every month February? Stretch your arms another 4 inches? Or lube up your treadmill weekly? By the way, Dominic's question was cut. This one was left in, which it should have been. Both should have been left in.
Sorry. Yeah.
Couch can handle a W word, but he can handle you want a new gay friend from the Claire's Rest Stop Welcome Center?
All of these. All of the above, Claire Rest Stop. I appreciate you.
Can we give them a gift card just so we can see who claims it?
By the way, I've gotten more feedback on this than you would think. Like, even my wife has, like, people I know who have friends who we had another we were out to dinner with another couple, and they were like, were you talking about the Claire Rest Stop Center? Because they have friends who listen. They're like, Claire is a wonderful place.
You raising your voice at me about the Claire?
Yeah, I love Claire.
Rest Stop?
Love Claire. I cannot wait. Claire is the gateway to the north in Michigan, right? I mean, you feel like you're going up north when you get to Claire.
Oh.
Yeah, right?
Where's the rest stop?
Where is up north to you? To me, it's the Claire Rest Stop Center.
I live in Ovid, so that's north.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I feel like that's good enough.
Yeah.
Spartan Degenerate. What NBA rules would college basketball benefit from? Watching the Pistons-Knicks game, I love the flow. Mine would be the half-court reset timeout.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's the 6 fouls, obviously. That would be where I'd start. I think also I would move back the three-point line in college basketball. I think it would create more space for better athletes. I think it would create more basketball that wasn't built around the three-point shot in the college game. That would be the first place I would go, is I would 6 fouls and I'd move back the three-point line.
Richard Kane, I understand Graham's point about booing rivals on 3. It's all over the Xavier Booker rating. But didn't Izzo and staff also rate him as an elite recruit?
Yes and no. Like, so it's a difficult thing when you're recruiting a guy. You can't like shit on his ranking, right? You can't be like that. But they knew, they thought he was going to be more ready than he was. There's no question about that. But they knew it was going to be a little work. They knew he wasn't like the one of the top couple players in the country. Or this wasn't Zach Randolph. They knew it wasn't Jaren Jackson Jr. They knew that. But it's hard to say that about a kid. And they tried to like caution. You go back to some of the stuff that was said. They were trying to be careful about it to some degree. So they saw him as recruitable. He's got a load of skill. Everybody wanted him. Well, I mean, you hear reports that like the Purdue coaches didn't want him, and they were excited when he went somewhere else, but they had to recruit him because he was from Indianapolis. Maybe, but a lot of people wanted him. A lot of people wanted him because I think what nobody realized is you see a high school kid with all the skill in the world that there's just a lack of aggression there that they couldn't get out of him, right? And you need flashes of it. You know, in Maui last year, I did a column on him because he had that great game. And one of the things that was the day before was him and Sadie Washington, the night before up in the hotel, going over all the positions. Excuse me.
Jesus.
Apologies.
Are you dying?
Nope. Good. Oh. Going over all the opportunities he had to post up that he didn't. And then you'd see a great performance. But he just did not.
Do you need some Hoff, dude?
Give me some Hoff, please. Thank you. Actually, let's take a really quick break. We come back. We'll get into the rest of your Groovy Donut Twitter questions. Couch in the Rube, our Friday show presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and Firekeepers Casino and Sportsbook.
Oh, God, go to break. Where else can you cheer on your team, enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi, sip on handcrafted cocktails, or one of 46 beers on tap? Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. 2 amazing places with 1 awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Ever wonder how comfortable you can be and how good you can look? Put on a Muskox flannel and find out. Muskox has new arrivals for this fall, including the Caper Green Grand Flannel, which even makes couch look good. Muskox is a Detroit-based flannel company that creates soft and durable flannels made to last a lifetime. They become a great partner with Couch in the Rube, not just because they make us look good and feel good, but because they're good people too, and a socially conscious company. For every $100 purchase, $10 is donated to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation. Muskox flannels are designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. Feel the quality and comfort of a Muskox flannel by ordering at gomuskox.com, where Couch in the Rube listeners can enjoy $15 off their flannel purchase with the promo code HOFF. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com.
Please like and subscribe to the Couch in the Rube YouTube channel. Also, download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
Couch in the Rube, our Friday show presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and the Firekeepers Casino and Sportsbook app. Download the app today. I think you'll enjoy how user-friendly it's become and some of the promotions they have there as well. Also giving away some Shake Shack gift cards. Shake Shack now open near Frandor and Lansing, which isn't that far from Front 43. So if you know where that is, near the Lansing-East Lansing border, Shake Shack is there for you. Shake Shack serves elevated versions of American classics using only the finest ingredients, known for its made-to-order Angus beef burgers, delicious crispy chicken, hand-spun milkshakes, house-made lemonades, beer, wine, and more. Go to ShakeShack.com to check out their menu. All right, back to the Groovy Donut Twitter question.
Richard Kane next. Do we know if Fears got any counseling from Skiles on handling road hostilities? And why isn't McCulloch playing more?
Well,
Skiles talk to people? Like,
yeah,
I don't think that's something he would do. Like, I don't know.
At one point, I had heard Skiles wanted to be the next Michigan State coach. This is before Izzo was hired, right? That was like his, or at some point be the Michigan State coach. But he's not somebody you see around the program at all, right? I mean, he's just not. Yeah, it's just kind of interesting. It'd be a good.
Might want to get to the bottom of that for a column, huh?
Be a good column. Would be a good column.
What's Matt Mancarini doing?
Yeah, find somebody.
Get him on it.
Somebody's got some talent in that area. Why isn't McCulloch? I mean, I don't think they trust him entirely. I think he probably should play more. I think when he gets out there most of the time, he does what he's supposed to do. But I think there is a drop-off, and some of it's matchup-based, and they feel like certainly with certain matchups, Cam Ward can give him more too off the bench.
Richard Kane, how much would a GoFundMe campaign have to raise to get Couch in the Room to do a 2-man luge run at Bunny Hill type beginner course wearing those skin tight kits? It wouldn't have to be much because Couch is such a W word where he would just take $20 because he wanted us to do the freaking cameos for $5. So I think you just do it for a 20 spot and try to talk me into it.
It seemed like a good idea in February of 2020, March of 2020. The cameos, by the way, that was
for
a long time
$5.
Well, yeah, it was.
Where Cameo takes a 30% cut, so we would get $1.50.
In hindsight, it was dumb. Yeah, and we were saved by the pandemic. Many things were saved by the pandemic. This show was saved by the pandemic. We were doing 5 days a week,
and Couch raised his voice at me.
Are you raising your voice at me?
During it was like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. I talked to the lady at Cameo. I was like, no, dude, I'm not doing it. You can't force me to do it.
Yeah, we got up in the 5 figures. We'd probably.
Are you raising your voice at me?
We'd probably do it.
Mojo Jojo. Graham, from your point of view, is AI resulting in worse journalism and younger professionals entering the field? Is it like anyone that can come from a dill now?
The AI is a huge problem in journalism, but it doesn't have to be entirely. Like the problem is responsible bosses. Like AI can be a huge helpful tool. My wife uses it all the time, and she's great at it. But again, it doesn't replace. It should not replace real thought. It does not replace. It doesn't replace people with talent, and it just doesn't. Now, I do worry about. I don't mind AI being used in certain areas that we're not doing anything anymore. Like, for example, if you're going to have AI write stories, and it's like high school basketball roundups based on the information in a box score, I'm okay with that because you know what we're not doing anymore? Writing those roundups that used to be in the paper. So if it goes from 0 to AI, as long as you are very, very careful to point out that it is AI. Like, to me, you cannot pass it off as anything but AI.
Is Los AI? Could AI take over Los?
I don't think Los can do AI, but it would be interesting to put into like ChatGPT, write a Carlos Monterrez column and see what it did. It would be very interesting.
It's against our guidelines, I would say. Mojo Jojo, Jason, can we get a couch in the room meetup at a Tigers versus Sox or Cubs game this summer? I can be a DD. Yeah.
It would be fun to do. If we're going to do one, a Tigers game would be fun.
How do we do that?
We can just get a group outing thing.
Oh, forget it. Sounds like too much work.
Already you're out.
Yeah. T's my DD, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, we can try.
It would be a fun way to do it.
Yeah. Scotty Green's El Camino, you guys can make one person disappear from sports media. Never have to hear or see them again. Who do you pick? Dave Portnoy, Dan Dockich, Adam Schefter, or Tom Brady?
Just those 4, huh?
Oh, really? Just those 4? Not Jack Ebling? See you, Jack. No, just kidding. Like, what? No Stephen A? Because Stephen A would be my pick. Like, I just, like, this whole dangling this presidential run, like, he just did, I don't know. It's just too much. I get, I don't know. I hate shit, because I don't hate Stephen A with a passion. It's just I want him to go away because ESPN has made him everywhere, and I get it for if you're going to pay that guy that amount of money.
Well, so you just said something that's important there. That he's made him, like, when I look at all these guys, the reason Portnoy doesn't matter to me is I can miss Portnoy. Like, Dave Portnoy doesn't have to come on my feed.
I don't know what Dockich is up. Like, he blocked me on Twitter, so I don't see him.
He does his own thing, and he's a douche, but he does his own thing. Yeah. Whatever, it's fine. He's sort of out of the public sphere. I mean, he's not out. Every once in a while it pops up.
I can ignore him. I can ignore Portnoy. Schefter I can. Tom Brady I can't. But I don't.
Brady doesn't bother me. Schefter bothers me at times.
Yeah, he's a penis.
But I can avoid him enough and whatever. I do think the thing about Stephen A, and there are times where he's entertaining and fine, is there's just too much of him, and that you can't avoid him, and so it would be somebody who is annoying that you can't avoid. Gus Johnson would probably be up there for a lot of people. For me, I don't actually watch a lot of games that I'm doing because I'm covering them, so that helps. I would.
Yeah, I could say Stephen A or Gus Johnson, because Gus Johnson does some games that I like to tune in and hear some. When I hear his voice, I go, "Fuck."
Good July topic. Just a show. Who would you like to see disappear? just go over.
It could be anybody.
Yeah.
Scotty Green's El Camino. You weirdos going to get Spot and Norm together for a play date? Well, that would mean Couch and I would have to get together for something, and we don't do that. I don't know.
If we brought
and it's not really their cat, so it'd be weird.
That would be weird, too. So they'd have to come. First of all, Norm would have to come to our house because we can't take Spot somewhere else because we don't own Spot.
Oh, really? That's over the line?
Yeah, that's over the line. And I also just worry about them not all cats get along. And I don't know.
Norm gets along with anybody.
Really? I worry about Spot. Spot's very territorial. That's my only concern.
Moneybag, is the investigation into Michigan's athletic department that was supposed to be released in mid-January still a thing, or did Ward hire a good enough football coach that they don't want him gone anymore?
No, this is still happening. I think there's no way this thing completely goes away.
You think so?
I'm not the one leading the investigation. So
but aliens are real, so we have to pay attention to that too. So we're distracted by not only other things, but Ward is just getting away with whatever.
I don't think. If I had to bet, Ward is not the AD a year from now.
Let's ask Ant Wright. Nate, what in the world made you think of having Ant on the gobble the Michigan's team's collective knob while you egged him on was a good idea?
We've had Ant on before and nobody complained. By the way, this is not Ant's first appearance. And I think what happened was, the idea was we'll talk MSU basketball. We'll have Ant on to talk Michigan and MSU and Big Ten, which seemed like a reasonable idea. And we just probably went a little long on the U of M conversation. And they're really good, and we haven't done a lot of that. And I don't think it's a problem. But apparently it turned off a lot of listeners.
Nate, how dumb do you have to be to think beating a middling UCLA at home while firmly out of the Big Ten race means this team can still hang a banner?
Who's saying that? Who wrote that? I don't know.
Tim.
No, Tim. No, Tim's the other side.
Faucet Liquor guy.
Faucet Liquor said it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, this team is not a. Well, I mean,
who did say that? Who was hanging banners? I don't know. Yeah. Mick Cronin was the big topic, and then
I mean, I think Michigan State can beat anybody on a given day, right? And so maybe your most likely best case scenario with that is a decent draw that winds up in a Final Four. The idea that and I know that Ant thought then you get there and you got two matchups, but it seems like a lot for this team. I'm not saying it's out of the realm of them to get hot at the right time, and we've seen that. But getting hot at the right time often gets you to the last weekend. Being there, you've got to be one of the top couple teams. And this is just a year where it's not like somebody can lose along the way, and boy, they're out of the way. If Michigan loses, that's still a really good Arizona, Duke, Houston. There's still a lot there that's of a really high quality that on a given day I think Michigan State could beat. I just don't see them winning like those games back to back.
Couch on fire next. A University of Montana linebacker was granted a 9th year of eligibility. Does he win the Blutarski Award? Is being a college student a career choice now?
It's incredible. 9th year of eligibility. I mean, the amount of injuries to get there.
But it's going to make you watch Montana football, though.
Just be aware that guy's going to have so much pain in his head and his back by the time he's in his 30s. You don't want to be that guy. If you have enough injuries to get a 9th year of eligibility, you will not walk in your 50s.
Sounds like a fair trade, though. Yeah. Like a decade in college. I mean, if you're having a good time anyway.
I think being in Montana would be fun.
Yeah, but have you ever seen a 75-year-old? It doesn't look fun. Like, you might as well just get it all in.
Nah, but you might as well walk when you're 75. That's a better thing.
Fuck it. Why?
I walk every day with a 75-year-old.
Yeah, but by the time you're 75, you're going to have one of those Segways. We're going to be all shuttled around anyway. We'll figure this out.
Flying cars coming and all that, yeah.
Couch on fire. Are Wisconsin's last 2 games just a perfect example of most of college basketball?
Well, no, I think Wisconsin's shooting is real because they did it on the road against great teams. They've had 14 or more threes 8 or 9 times this year, right? So Wisconsin's shooting is real, but it is an example that it can go the other way on you no matter how much that's a part of your DNA. And it's why it's hard for a team like Wisconsin that relies on that so much to make a deep run, because you can get hot for a game or two and it goes away. And Wisconsin's Ken Palm numbers reflect a team that's probably not going past the Sweet 16 even if they're hot. They're just not elite at enough, even though they have a great backcourt. But yeah, to some degree, yes.
Brianna Barksdale of Southern Maine next. I know this isn't a political podcast, but the video of Kid Rock and RFK Jr. is living rent-free in my head. Will you please explain what it is I watched?
Okay. So
it looked like softcore gay porn.
Yeah, it was weird. The shirt's off. I don't really know. Yeah. First of all,
can I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
So WILX actually tweeted out this story and had a screen grab of RFK and Kid Rock working out. And I said, Stout and Provenzano do the same workout. And then Dominic came in and did one of those Twitter, like the video with Stout's face and Provenzano's face over Kid Rock and RFK, but it's not up here anymore. So Dominic's getting censored everywhere.
Wow.
Did WILX have it taken down?
Did Dominic think he went too far? I can't imagine.
No, he didn't take it down. It wasn't even that far. It was funny. It was their head, Stout's head on RFK.
Yeah.
Going full jeans into like a cold plunge is wild.
So there are a lot of things to think about RFK Jr. Most of them are not good. But the one thing I would say, regardless of anything, that even if he wasn't sort of a man with a worm in his head in charge of our health, I would say this. If you are that fit, that buff as a 70-year-old, you know how much time it takes at that age to be that fit? You are not using your time wisely. You should be, if you have a job that's that important, you should not look like that. That's the other thing I would say.
Oh, man. Fart soup. Why is Peacock ramming curling down my throat harder than a Jason Nick Pornhub deep throat search? Seriously. I would rather watch a donkey pull a monkey in a cart up a hill while racing a three-legged camel. Enough of curling already. That's a weird search for Pornhub.
Yeah.
Deep throat.
Are you
No, I don't look at that kind of porn.
I'm talking about curling.
Oh.
Are you saying curling?
Not really. I haven't had it on because T's been gone all week. So unless she's around, like I've been watching golf late night, like last night. So I don't know. I don't follow this shit.
I know. I get some Mexican. If Mexican soccer was in the Winter Olympics, I would watch a lot more.
Hans Jurgen. Isn't it a good strategy to purposely hurt your opponent's best player in a championship game? Nobody will be remember what you did 100 years from now, but your name will still be in the record books. Nice guys finish last. What's he saying?
So if you hurt the other team's best player to win a game. So if you're playing, if you're playing Michigan State, you take out Jeremy Fears, and that's how you win. You will be remembered for that, though. I would not, Teddy Dupay all these years later is remembered for, leg sweeping Mateen Cleaves. That's how I remember Teddy Dupay, right? And so I would say it does matter.
Hans, do you wish you had attended Northern Michigan University?
Small part of me does. Yeah, I didn't really. The UP wasn't in my sphere as much as it is now, but now that I've been up there a lot, I think, God, this would be fun. Absolutely.
Hans, can MSU win the Natty if Coen Carr stops shooting threes?
They need Coen Carr to play well, like he's been playing.
It'll be a cold day in hell before I give up on Coen Carr.
To have any sort of shot at a deep run. And the more he and Jordan Scott keep emerging and, if they can consistently find their game and make some shots, that makes a big difference.
Hans Jurgen, would you rather play a slot machine with pornographic images and symbols or one that spits out narcotics and materials to make your own street drugs? Yeah, but everything's fentanyl now, and like street drugs aren't fun anymore. They're all those zombie drugs and like
dangerous.
Yeah. And meth and all that shit. I don't want to do that. Just give me the pornographic images.
Yeah, you can't just run a corner with drugs like you used to.
No, it's all fentanyl now. Yeah. It's scary. Hans Jurgen, if all your listeners pose questions as disturbing as mine, would you shut down the show?
Considering you had 3 or 4 that didn't make this show, Hans, yes, or we'd have to edit. I'd have to edit more carefully. That's. Hans is the great. Hans is the best. We love Hans. We love having you part of this show. Yes is the answer.
Jake the Hawkins, thoughts about the city of Detroit not hosting a bowl game at Ford Field after the 2026 season?
Yeah, it's been a part of things for a long time. It's too bad, but
I was like, it was a good run.
Yeah, I'm one of those people who's sort of tired of all the bowl games and have fallen out of love with them because people don't play in them anymore in terms of their best players. You can't gamble on them anymore. Like I've just lost a lot of care about the bowl game, so it doesn't bother me. But it was a good run. I used to enjoy watching that game.
The Hawk, since MSU football got wide receiver Samson Gash to keep his pledge and sign a LOI, what does that say about Pat Fitzgerald?
Well, it's good that they did that. It says a lot probably about Courtney Hawkins too, who's done that a couple times during coaching changes. You think about, he was the one who got Nick Marsh during a coaching change, right? So that's keeping that receivers coach is good. I don't know what it says about Pat Fitzgerald, but obviously a good get.
Upper Deck Jerk Guy, is tampering a good strategy for building a college basketball team?
It might be. I mean, it absolutely might be. I can't say it's not. Now,
I'm not talking about Michigan.
The challenge is building through the portal is still going to be there even if you tamper. But if nobody's going to call you out on it, then why not do it?
Jerk Guy, does Kelly Green need to be in Michigan State's alternate uniforms in all sports?
Probably. I'm trying to think of basketball with it. I don't know, but probably. Yes. Short answer.
Wouldn't ruin it, you don't think?
Occasional alternate.
Do it too much?
Yeah. You don't want to overdo it.
I'd like to try, though.
Yeah.
I think we should try it. All right, and finally, the jerk guy. If you placed a bet on the Firekeepers app while wearing a Muskox flannel, while also eating a Groovy Donut in Front 43, how much money would you make?
$1 zillion. $1 zillion. That's the promise from Firekeepers. The problem is...
is that a gift card?
No, because Upper Deck Jerk Guy has to keep his anonymity, so he can't win prizes.
Well, I can send it to the jerk guy. Like, he doesn't have a P.O. box?
Yeah, do you have a P.O. box like I did in high school? By the way, that used pre-9/11. You could get anything in a P.O. box. It was amazing.
The good old days.
The good old
pre-9/11, right? Am I right?
the good old
Walk
days.
right through an airport.
16 years old.
Get a Playboy at your P.O. box.
Lansing P.O. box. Yep, that was the way to do it. Had a couple before you had burner accounts on Twitter. You had fake names at P.O. boxes. Nobody checked any of that stuff. Probably shouldn't say this stuff on.
Yeah, it's all right.
Anyway, we appreciate all of you. Thanks for producing our show. We appreciate Firekeepers and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Download the app. Coco Gauff did lose, so that game against Pegula with Svitolina is not as. I don't know if I love it as much. Still like Pegula. We'll see what the odds are there. We appreciate, of course, Shake Shack. Go to shakeshack.com. If you're in the Lansing area, the new Frandor location is open to you beginning at 10 a.m. every single day. And, of course, Groovy Donuts. Go to groovydonuts.com. Make Groovy Donuts part of your weekend. It'll bring joy to your weekend and joy to the people around you. We will be back Monday. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Roof.